crafty friends, welcome to today's tutorial. In today's tutorial, I'm going to walk you through how to make a summer dress that will easily transition into fall, as we are currently in the middle of summer. I'm going to be modifying this pattern. Yeah, it looks like a mess. What it is the New Look Pattern Collection, number 6143. You will use bodice front for A, B, and C, and the bodice back for all pieces. We will also make some adjustments to the sleeve style C and D. Today, I'm going to use this fabulous ombre fabric because I bought this and I've been obsessing over it and I didn't know what to do, but I thought a really fun dress would make a lot of sense. Begin by cutting out your bodice front. Fold your fabric and cut the front on the fold. Note here that I am setting my center front about 1 inch away from the fold. For this design, we need a longer shoulder seam. Here I am adding 2 inches to the top of my shoulder seam. The first modification we're doing to the pattern is extending the shoulder line, and I've added 2 inches on the inside, and I have set the center seam line allowance away by 1 inch. There you go, something like that. Make sure to mark your notches in the arm. As we cut the sleeve, we'll note notches in the front and the back of the sleeve, so that'll help allow the sleeve to lay right. Mark them notches. As we set up to cut the back piece, you will add the same allowance into the shoulder seam as you did to the front. That would be 2 inches on the top part here, and then just blend it down to the center, but that is the only modification we're doing to the back piece. For the next step, I'm going to cut out my sleeve. The pattern I have is for a short sleeve, but I want a long sleeve, and I want it very billowy down here and elastic together at the wrist. I am going to utilize some of the gradient happening by starting the top of my sleeve here and having it go all the way, not all the way down because my arms aren't that long, but I'll show you what we do to modify this pattern piece. I am taking an approximate measurement here by pinching the measuring tape into my armpit and pulling it down to my wrist. It doesn't have to be precise, but getting within a couple inches of your arm length is good. The rest is simply measuring out the length of the sleeve from the point of the pattern that would be your armpit and making sure that it's all even on either side. As you can see, I am slightly curving the angle of the sleeve to allow more fabric and volume towards the end of the sleeve where my wrist will be. Here I'm taking a quick measurement from the top of my shoulder down to my wrist so that the hem of the sleeve is even. I will review in a moment what I'm doing here. The selvage of the fabric that I didn't use, I'm folding and cutting strips that are about 2 inches wide. These will then be folded over and stitched to the bottom of the sleeve to create a channel for elastic to be threaded through. I will also review this in a moment. I'm going to cut out my collar here. I know I want a Peter Pan collar. I'm folding it into fourths and staying on that folded center line, slightly curving a shape. And this will be the part that attaches to the dress. It goes around the neck. And from here, starting quite up, I'm simply curving out a Peter Pan style shape. Now, I realize this isn't the best application for everyone. I've also been sewing for 17 years, so I can kind of fudge my way through something. However, as I suggest in a moment, try making a couple pieces like this out of paper and find the shape that you like the most. To review what I just did, the selvage edge at the end that was the darker color orange, I used to cut 2 long strips that fold over that are the exact same length at the end of my sleeve. Those will get attached at the bottom and elastic will get threaded through it so that it'll gather tight around the wrist. The second piece that I cut out was the collar. I didn't use a pattern piece for this, I'm just eyeballing it, but if you're familiar with wearing shirts with collars on them, they're either pointed or they're rounded. Slightly curve it around the area that will be sewn to the neck, and then the other end, you can have it be pointed, you can experiment with different shapes. If you're new to this and you don't have a pattern that has a collar that you like, try using a piece of paper to cut out a couple pieces, a bit of trial and error, and you can hold it up to your neck and see if you like it. The next thing I'm going to cut out is my skirt. This will be the easiest part. I'm going to keep it as a long rectangle, but measure up from the darkest part of the orange to the lightest, depending on how long I want my skirt. So my desired hem length to my waistline, and then I'll measure from the bottom up. That way that I get maximum use of the darkest part of this fabric. I'm gonna keep it all one rectangle, and when I attach it to the bodice, I'm going to gather it so that it's gathered. Yeah, that. A gentle reminder to make sure and add your seam allowances to your hem and the waistline. So whatever number is the desired hem you want to add an inch or an inch and a half, depending on how much seam allowance you would like. As you can see, I have quite a bit left of the top part of the fabric, and it's mostly this peach color. I'm going to save most of this to make a waistband, a tie belt. But another fun thing I thought I would do, and it's something I haven't done in a while, is make a nice little ruffle, maybe about a couple inches, and inset it in the seam on the arm. So just an extra added little fun, flirty touch. In order to do that, just cut some strips that, depending on how long you want your ruffle, if you want like a 2-inch ruffle, then you cut a 4-inch wide strip. Makes sense because you fold it over and then you ruffle it and then you sew it in. This wraps up the first portion of this tutorial, which is cutting things out with the slight modifications. Join me soon for part 2, where we will assemble the dress and put in all the last minute touches that make the garment done and wearable. Until next time, happy crafting.